So I remember back in college, I didn't really pay attention to credit cards and I was just using a debit card for most of my spending. But looking back on that, I was definitely missing out because I could have been building my credit better while getting some other really nice benefits on a few great no annual fee student credit cards that are out there. So that's why in this video, we're gonna go over what I think are the 6 best credit cards for college students or anyone else that's currently getting some sort of an education. Now, what I mainly looked for in these cards was that they had no annual fees, since student credit cards are really geared towards beginners with limited income, but I also focused on finding credit cards that earned above average cashback or rewards, ones that had some sort of a sign-up bonus, or ones with some other notable benefit like no foreign transaction fees for those studying abroad, and I even found one with no social security number required for international students studying here in the US that are looking for an entry into building credit. So with all that said, let's get right into it here. Make sure to go ahead and tap the like button and subscribe down below to help support the channel if you haven't already. And if you're in college, then go ahead and share this with your other college friends, or if you're not in school, then go pass it along to anyone else you might know that'll find this info useful. But let's get started with credit card number 1, which is going to be the Discover It Student Cashback. Now, this card is an easy favorite among many people and not just college students, since there's almost an identical regular non-student version of this card, but the Discover It Student Cashback is a powerful card and a pretty popular choice for starting your credit journey. So this credit card has no annual fee and it's gonna get you 5% back in rotating quarterly categories that Discover tells you about each year. And for 2022, those categories are going to include things like grocery stores, gas stations, Target, restaurants, PayPal purchases, Amazon, and purchases made with digital wallets too. So that's a lot of options where most people spend a good amount of money, which makes it pretty easy for the 5% cashback earned with this card to add up quickly. Now, you are going to be limited to earning that 5% back on only up to $1,500 of spending each quarter, which would be about $75 of cash back per quarter if you max that out. But honestly, as college students, most of us know that we're not gonna have that much money to spend at that time in our life, so I wouldn't worry about that limit. And as a quick side note for this video, if you are using credit cards as a college student, this is a time where we have to be extremely careful about not overspending beyond what you can afford to pay back in full. So as a general rule of thumb that I recommend here on my channel, treat your credit card like a debit card and only use it if you already have the money set aside in a bank account to pay off your balance on time and in full each month. Don't spend money that you don't already have, because then you'll carry a balance and pay high interest, and really that just wipes out any of the benefits of earning the cash back in the first place, so just be careful. But back to the Discover It Student Cashback card, you'll also get 1% cash back on all other purchases outside of those rotating 5% categories, and then the real power of this student credit card comes from the first year cashback match offer that they have. Basically, whatever cashback you earn in that first year with this card, Discover is gonna match it dollar for dollar up to any amount. So if you earn $250 in cashback in year 1, they're gonna match that with another $250 for a total of $500 cashback, which means that effectively for your first year with this credit card, when you include that match, you're getting 10% back in rotating quarterly categories and 2% back on everything else. Now, you won't get that match until the first whole year with this card is over for you, but still that's huge, especially compared to other credit cards out there that are aimed towards beginners that offer very little in rewards. There's also no foreign transaction fees, but unlike some other cards that we're gonna get to next here that are Visa or MasterCards, Discover sometimes is not accepted as widely outside of the US, so just something to keep in mind. Now next, let's move on to credit card number 2, and that is the Capital One Saver One Student Credit Card. So I think this is another really valuable no annual fee card, especially for college students, since it gets 3% cash back on dining, entertainment, popular streaming services, and grocery stores, which is a lot of categories where you're getting triple the normal 1% back that most basic credit cards have. Now, you do also get that standard 1% cash back on all other purchases outside of those specific categories. Plus, as of the filming of this video in August of 2022, there's a limited time $100 bonus after spending $100 on this card in the first 3 months of having it. But even if you're watching this video later on and that sign-up bonus isn't available, I still think this is a really solid option as a student credit card. Also, there's some other cool benefits like a temporary 8% back through Vivid Seats until the end of January 2023, plus no foreign transaction fees as well, and it is a MasterCard. Now, one last thing with those categories on the Saver One student card where you earn 3% back, on Capital One's website, you can find out exactly what types of purchases count for each category. So for example, with grocery stores, that's going to exclude groceries bought at places like Walmart and Target. But the good news is that with that dining category, that'll cover a wide variety of places like cafes, bars, and fast food, since those are probably favorites among most college students where you spend a lot of money already. Now, moving on to the third best credit card for college students here, we're just gonna stick with Capital One for a minute with another popular card from them, which is going to be the Capital One Quicksilver Rewards for Students card. And really quickly, this Quicksilver card, as well as the Saver One card and some of the others in this video, are also available as regular non-student versions with essentially the same benefits, except with those regular credit cards, there's usually gonna be better welcome bonuses or higher credit limits as well. But the whole point with most student credit cards anyway is just to make them available to those that might not already have the highest credit score or the highest income just yet. So for the Capital One Quicksilver student card, this is a good one if you just want one solid card that'll earn you a flat 1.5% cash back on everything instead of having higher earning categories. Now you'll get a lot of the same things as that Saver One card that we just went over, like that limited time $100 welcome bonus after spending $100 in 3 months. Again though, that might not be available depending on when you're watching this, but of course there's also no annual fees, no foreign transaction fees, and it's a MasterCard as well. And by the way, all these cards that I'm talking about here have all those other basic credit card protections and benefits that come standard with most credit cards, like zero liability protection, purchase protection, extended warranties, and things like that. So I really wish that I was using credit cards and not my debit card back in college, because some of those protections would have been really nice to have. Now there's not much else to the Capital One Quicksilver since it just earns a flat 1.5% cash back on everything. But again, I think it's a solid card if you're spending in many different categories, or if you just don't want to keep track of several credit cards and where to use them. Then next, for these last 3 student credit cards, I've got one that would have been my favorite when I was in college back in the day at Penn State, one that's good for international students, and one that's just okay, but it can be really good for your credit card strategy after college. So let's start with that one at number 4, which is the no annual fee Chase Freedom student credit card. So to be honest, this card from Chase is really basic with not too much going on. It's definitely not a bad card, but it's only earning 1% back on all purchases, which is the bare minimum for any credit card, so it's nothing amazing. Now there is a $50 welcome bonus after you make your first purchase with this card, which is cool because you could just go ahead and buy a Chipotle burrito or something small and get a nice $50 back, but you do also get a $20 bonus for good standing rewards each year that your account is open. So an extra 20 bucks for college students is great, and I know it would have been great for me to get like $20 slices over at Canyon Pizza over the course of a semester at Penn State if the prices haven't gone up with inflation. And by the way, with that Penn State shout out, anyone watching this that goes to school there, go follow me over on Instagram or send me a DM and I'll follow you back for that alumni connection. But for the Chase Freedom student card, the real benefit here is going to be 2 things. Number 1 is that you're earning Chase Ultimate Rewards points for all these bonuses and the 1% earnings. So that $50 bonus is really in the form of 5,000 Chase points that you can convert to $50. And number 2 is that you're starting to develop a relationship with Chase, which is actually really important for getting some of their good credit cards later on in college or after college. So Chase has some of the best credit cards out there when it comes to earning points for travel, and I've made plenty of other videos about that here on my channel that I'll link to down below. But they can also be a little challenging for some people to get approved for if you don't already have a relationship with them from banking or a student credit card like this one. Plus, with those points that you're earning on the Freedom student card, you could actually save them up and then combine them with a card later on like the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and then you can redeem those points for even more value towards travel with that card. Again, that's too much info to get into here, so go subscribe down below to learn how to do that. But the only real downside to this card that is a Visa card is that there's going to be a foreign transaction fee of 3%, so that makes it not a good option for anyone studying abroad. Then next, for credit card number 5, this is going to be that international student option if you're having trouble getting started with credit cards here in the US without a social security number, and that is going to be the no annual fee Deserve EDU MasterCard for students. So this card also only gets 1% cash back on all purchases, but there's a few benefits that made me mention it here in this video. First of all, there's an Amazon Prime credit available for 1 year after you first spend $500 on this card within the first 3 months of getting it, and this Amazon Prime credit is worth up to $69, which currently is the exact cost of 1 year of Amazon Prime student membership, so that's going to be your best use of this credit. But if for some reason you opted for the monthly student Prime membership instead, then that's going to cost you $749 per month, which this card will then reimburse you for, but the credit only works on up to $69 total anyway, so at $749 per month, that's only going to cover you for a little over 9 months. There's also a cell phone protection benefit that covers damage or theft on up to $600 per claim and $1,000 per 12-month period after a $50 deductible, and that's a nice thing to have as well. But the real important benefits on this credit card are directed towards international students studying here in the US, since there are no requirements for a social security number to apply, and then you also have no foreign transaction fees, so you can travel back to your home country and then use this card without having to worry about that. So you'll build your credit here in the US and get some nice benefits as well, like the Amazon Prime credit, even though the cashback isn't great, but to me, this would be a good option if I was an international student. And finally, for credit card number 6 on this list that I think is a really great option and kind of unique compared to some of the others that we've talked about so far, and that is the no annual fee Bank of America customized cash rewards credit card for students. So the reason this one is unique is because it actually gives you as the card holder a bit of flexibility in deciding how you want to earn with its top 3% cashback category. And the way this works is that you get 3% cash back in one of 6 categories that you can choose from, which are gas, online shopping, dining, travel, drugstores, stores, and home improvement and furnishings. So for me, the most interesting category that I think people might want to choose is going to be online shopping, since that's going to apply to a huge number of places where you'll be able to earn 3% back. And also you can change that 3% category once per calendar month, but it's going to be set to gas by default. Then on top of that, you also get 2% cash back on both grocery stores and wholesale clubs, plus 1% back on all other purchases. Now the only limitation is that you're only getting 3% back and 2% back on up to $2,500 in spending each quarter in combined spending of your choice category, grocery stores, and wholesale clubs. But then that 1% back on all other purchases is unlimited. This customized cash rewards student card also comes with the largest welcome bonus out of all the credit cards we talked about in this video, with a $200 cash rewards offer after spending $1,000 in the first 90 days of account opening. So that's a bit of a higher minimum spend if you are a student, but with book purchases and some other supplies, I'm sure you could hit it. And then the last thing to note with this Visa card is that there is a 3% foreign transaction fee. So again, not a good option to use outside of the US. Now, most of these cards should be pretty easy to qualify for as a student, where your credit score isn't too high just yet. So I'm gonna have a link down below where you can check out a few of the best student credit card offers going on right now if you want to learn more. Also, even though everyone's approval odds will vary, if you're having trouble getting approved for any one of these, then what you might want to consider starting out with is a secured credit card first. And since you're likely going to be a beginner when you get any type of a secured or student card, you'll want to make sure that you don't use these credit cards the wrong way. So make sure you go ahead and check out this video over here next on the 5 lessons credit card beginners need to learn, because I'll explain some key concepts that you have to know. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.